Welcome to Steps in the Accounting Process. By the end of this ACLET, you should be able to list and briefly describe the steps in the accounting process. As you know, as the accountant for GrowGreen, you now have two binders on your desk. One is the ledger and one is the journal. They both contain exactly the same information, except only the journal has an explanation of each transaction. So if both binders contain the same information, why do we keep both binders? Because the data is sorted differently in each binder. In the ledger, the data is sorted by account and by date. In the journal, the data is sorted by transaction and by date. The ledger is best for answering questions that start with how much, like how much cash do we have? The journal is best for answering questions that start with what was that, like what was that $4,000 payment for? So we need both binders. Now the question is, in which binder will we first record the transactions? What would you guess? Did you guess the journal? Sometimes students feel a little betrayed by this answer because, after all, we started with the ledger. The reason that we started with the ledger is because you can actually see the accounting equation in it. The accounting equation is not at all obvious when you look at the journal, although it is there since we use the left-right system to analyze transactions. So yes, we'll record transactions in the journal first, then copy the data into the ledger. Here is a list of steps in the accounting process. The first step is to receive a source document. We haven't talked about this, but it should seem pretty logical. For an accountant to record a transaction of a business, he or she must know about it. The paper or e-document that contains the details about the transaction is called a source document. Examples are bills from suppliers, the yellow copy of a sales invoice showing we made a sale to a customer, a loan agreement, or a title to a vehicle we purchased. If an accountant has received no source document, he or she has no transaction to record. When we have the source document, we analyze the transaction. You already know all about our left-right system, so I won't include the details here. When the transaction has been analyzed, we record the transaction in the journal. The accounting word for this is journalize. Then we copy the data from the journal to the ledger, sorting by account as we go. The accounting word for this is post. We post to the ledger. And like we did before, once we've entered all of the transaction data in the ledger, we prove that we have kept the accounting equation in balance by preparing a trial balance. This concludes the ACLET, Steps in the Accounting Process.